Sakura is a tree that blooms in spring. Sakura is translated as cherry blossom. Japanese people look forward to seeing cherry blossoms in spring. Since Japan has a vertically elongated land, the temperature differs greatly between the north and the south. Therefore, the cherry blossom season also varies from region to region. Usually, the cherry blossoms start blooming from south to north. In Tokyo, cherry blossoms bloom from March to April, and in Hokkaido, cherry blossoms bloom in May. In Okinawa Prefecture, cherry blossoms begin to bloom in mid-January. There are various types of cherry blossoms. The flowering time varies depending on the type of cherry blossoms. The most commonly planted cherry tree in Japan is Yoshino cherry tree, Same Yoshino. There are also kawazu cherry blossoms, double-flowered cherry blossoms, weeping cherry blossoms, wild cherry blossoms, and cold cherry blossoms. There are many famous cherry blossom spots all over Japan. Same Yoshino is a cherry tree whose mother is Idahigan, and whose father is Oshima cherry, which is endemic to Japan. In the Showa period, many Yoshino cherry trees were planted all over Japan. In Japan, Sakura generally refers to Yoshino cherry tree. Same Yoshino was cultivated by planters in Same village from the end of the Edo period to the beginning of the Meiji era. At first, Same Yoshino was called Yoshino cherry, after Mount Yoshino, which is a famous place for cherry blossoms. In 1900, Same Yoshino was found to be a different kind of cherry blossom than wild cherry tree. It was named Same Yoshino after the name of Same village, because it was feared to be confused with the wild cherry tree that is often found on Mount Yoshino. The height of the Yoshino cherry tree is about 10 to 15 meters. And the tree is shaped like an umbrella that spreads horizontally. There are 5 petals of Yoshino cherry tree, and the cherry blossoms open before the leaves come out and are in full bloom. The color of the Yoshino cherry blossoms is deep red when they are buds, light red when they start to bloom, and approaches white when they are in full bloom. Yoshino cherry tree is a gorgeous cherry blossom that covers the whole tree with only flowers densely packed when it is in full bloom. Yoshino cherry blossoms bloom all at once at the time of flowering and are in full bloom all at once. The whole tree of Yoshino cherry tree is very gorgeous because a lot of flowers bloom before the leaves come out. Yoshino cherry trees grow fast, bloom from young trees, and tend to grow into large trees. For these reasons, Yoshino cherry trees have been planted all over Japan, making it the most famous cherry blossom in Japan. Yoshino cherry trees in various parts of Japan are all clones that have been increased by grafting or cuttings by hand. Since Yoshino cherry trees are clones, they will bloom at the same time and be in full bloom at the same time if the environment is the same. The flowers of the cherry blossoms begin to fall in about a week after they are in full bloom. In order to see the cherry blossoms in full bloom, many Japanese pay attention to the flowering day and the full bloom day of the cherry blossoms. When cherry trees are in bloom, a cherry blossom forecast is televised daily. With the cherry blossom season, mass media reports are made daily about Sakura Zensen, cherry blossom front. Announcement of the blooming of cherry blossoms is called declaration of flowering. When 5 to 6 cherry blossoms bloom on the cherry tree being observed, it is declared that the cherry blossoms have bloomed. Hanami is a traditional Japanese custom in spring. Hanami means cherry blossom viewing. People spread a mat under the cherry blossoms. and enjoy drinking and eating while appreciating the beautiful flowers. Cherry blossoms are in full bloom all over the country from late March to early May. Those who are planning to see the cherry blossoms will check the Sakura front and decide the date of the cherry blossom viewing. The cherry blossom viewing season varies from region to region. The period when the flowers are in bloom is about 1 to 2 weeks after flowering. And the appearance of the cherry blossoms falling all at once is called blizzard of falling cherry blossoms. It is said that cherry blossom viewing was started by aristocrats in the Nara period. And at that time, flowers meant plum blossoms. In the Heian period, flowers came to mean cherry blossoms. Farmers were watching the cherry blossoms as a flower to signal spring, the time of rice planting. In the Kamakura period, samurai and tradesmen began to enjoy cherry blossom viewing. And cherry blossoms began to be planted in temples and other places. In the Edo period, cherry blossom viewing became popular as a pleasure for the common people. After the Meiji era, many cherry blossoms were burned due to the effects of the war. But after that, the cherry blossoms spread all over the country. And it became possible to see cherry blossoms all over the country as it is now. The banquet while watching the cherry blossoms in full bloom is tasteful and fun. Cherry blossom viewing at night is called Yozakura. Many cherry blossom viewing spots illuminate the cherry blossoms at night so that you can enjoy the Yozakura. The cherry blossoms illuminated by the lights have a fantastic beauty that is different from the cherry blossoms in the daytime. Hanami dumplings are often eaten at cherry blossom viewing. Hanami dumplings have been eaten by the common people since the Edo period during cherry blossom viewing. Hanami dumplings are made up of 3 colors: pink, white, and green. Pink is cherry blossoms for spring, white is snow for winter remnants, and green is mugwort for summer. Cherry blossom viewing is also very popular in the United States. In 1912, Japan presented the United States with 3,000 cherry trees as a gift to celebrate national friendship. These trees were planted in Washington, D.C., and in 1965 an additional 3,800 trees were donated. These cherry trees are still a popular tourist attraction. And the National Cherry Blossom Festival is held every spring when they bloom. Cherry blossoms are a symbol of spring for Japanese people. Japanese people love cherry blossoms because they are transient and only bloom for a short period of time. Viewing cherry blossoms reminds me that life is short but beautiful. Japanese people find beauty in something fleeting, like cherry blossoms and fireworks. Cherry blossoms are very beautiful when the petals are falling off trees. There is a saying, dumplings are better than flowers. The literal translation is that I would rather eat dumplings than look at flowers. The meaning is an analogy for placing more importance on substance and practical benefits than on appearance and dignity. Also, a metaphor for not understanding elegance. Sakura is beautiful because it is fleeting.